Thank you for joining us for this webinar, Introduction to How to Reduce Maintenance Costs in a Digital World. Thank you for your time and your interest. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I'm the Managing Director of Bimser International. Today, I am going to be presenting you with our software engineer, Itiar Gonzalez. I'd like to start with a very brief, very short company presentation, and then we'll talk more about some use cases and talk about BIM, our digital tool for maintenance and asset management. Bimser International is our company name. Bimser International is based in New York. We are an enterprise software maker since 1998. I am the managing director of the company. So as a company, we believe in simplicity. Therefore, all of our products are designed for helping companies to simplify their, that is how we position our products and ourselves, basically. As a company, we are a group of companies. Our software development center and our parent company is based in Istanbul metro area, where the yellow dot is. We have another company in Europe called Bimser Europe for our European operations. Bimser International, I myself and my team members, we are in New York. So as a group, we are about 150 people. Most of us are software engineers. Bimser is a certified SAP vendor, a Microsoft Gold partner, and an Acumatica independent software vendor. As a company, we are very focused. We have 4 products that we have been developing since 1998. IBA is our workflow and records management platform. We have BIM, that more about today, is our asset maintenance, facility, purchasing and energy management software. QDMS is our quality, risk, and compliance management software. And Ensemble is our business process management tool. BIM that I need to emphasize that you can manage assets, could be cars, trucks, equipment, machinery that is available in your at your company locations. BIM is multi-location and multi-language, so you can access the system anywhere as long as there's internet connection. In the next slide, we'll be showing you how we position our products very briefly. Ensemble is a managerial tool in a way with KPI management, performance management, strategy management, and balanced scorecard capabilities. IBA, BIM, and QDMS, they automate processes. IBA with the workflow and the records management, BIM with the asset and maintenance management, and QDMS with quality, risk, and compliance management. They automate processes. 4 of our products, they can work standalone, independently, and they can also be integrated to any ERP, any CRM platform available in the marketplace. We also have mobile apps available. Our products can work on cloud and on-premise servers. So we have up-to-date technology available, and we keep investing in our products. We have been implementing many different projects for all of our products. These figures show how many implementations we have done globally by the end of last year. I need to update these figures to make it up to date. As for IBA, we have implemented more than 450 times. As for BIM, that we'll talk more about today, we have implemented more than 300 times. QDMS, we have had projects more than 750 times, and Ensemble more than 150 times, and still counting. These are global figures. These figures also show the number of clients that we have globally. I also like to talk about some of the references that we have been working. We have more references available, of course. 3 of our clients using IBA, our workflow engine, in 17 different countries. United Nations is one of our references using our document management platform to track refugees in Syria. We have references in pharma industry, AstraZeneca also using IBA. ArcLight movie theaters based in California using IBA in association with the ERP system. We have Ford and Renault Nissan Alliance that we have as references using IBA in Turkey. We have more references available on our website. We also have references and actually focus in especially North America for mid-sized companies as well. We have clients with 100 employees. We have clients with 10,000 employees. So since our products are scalable, we can help companies in various sizes, different sizes available. Let's go to next slide, please. So before we get into BIM in detail, I like to also give you some examples, some use cases where we implemented BIM before and where it is being used in real life. These are important information that we like to share with you. As I mentioned earlier, BIM is our asset and maintenance management software, and it helps companies assets, could be cars, trucks, equipment, machinery, facilities. So as for Starbucks, for instance, in this particular case, we are talking about Starbucks in the Middle East. And for their operations in Turkey, where they have more than 400 stores available, very active in Turkish market. So when we talk about Starbucks, their main asset in their coffee shops is their coffee machine, if you think about it. So their challenge was managing the maintenance of their coffee machines. And the problem was whenever the coffee machine needed any maintenance, they were to pick up the phone and make a call to their headquarters, and the headquarters was supposed to call the subcontractor and then direct them to the related coffee shop for maintenance operations. So we addressed these challenges after we saw the BIM at Starbucks in Turkey. They started to start maintenance operations just by using BIM and directly to the subcontractor in their area, and also centrally right now they are able to monitor the situation, the status of each coffee machine at their locations. Also, they can assign the maintenance orders to any subcontractor available, and they can also use the mobile app. It's very simple, and right now that's very easy to get reports out of BIM. The main ROI that we can actually share with you here is the reduction of maintenance costs, which is about 30%. Because of using the maintenance operations via BIM digitally, they started to reduce costs on the maintenance. And this is an important use case that we really wanted to share with you. I'd like to share with you another use case, and that is about Hankel. As you know, Hankel is a Germany-based manufacturing company for consumer goods, consumer products, and it's a multinational company that's been very active not only in Germany and also globally. They're also active in Middle East, in Turkey, and other parts of Europe as well. So when we first met Hankel, we actually found out that they were actually managing maintenance operations. What I'm talking about is the production operations and the machinery. Everything was on paper based. So the schedules of the maintenance were being made on paper. Maintenance orders were given on paper. And everything was pretty much paper based and paper reliant. It was really sustainable. And it was very difficult to get any reliable reporting out of it. So we met with Hankel, and they seen BIM, and they implemented on at their locations. Even though they have multiple locations, not a problem. They can access BIM anywhere they have, and they started to monitor the health, monitor the status of machinery equipment that they have in various locations. They started to assign maintenance orders to their subcontractors as well as their in-house maintenance crews via BIM, and not only by using the laptops or desktop computers, also by using the mobile apps. And it makes things much easier in a way that we actually help them digitally transform their maintenance operations. And of course, the result was moving entire operations digitally, helping them actually reduce the maintenance costs. And they started to generate reports based on the maintenance operations. So these are the use cases that I wanted to share with you. If questions, please feel free to type in the chat box. We have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar, and we'll be addressing your questions. Now I'd like to turn it to our software engineer, Kier Gonzalez. She is also based in New York, just like myself, and she'll be she'll be presenting you Beam, and also she'll be getting to the live environment, and she'll show you how the system runs. Kier, would you like to continue?
Thank you, Gavin. Yes.
Thank you, Kier.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a couple of slides on Beam. Then I'm also going to talk about the integration between Beam and Acumatica, which is the Cloud ERP. And right now we're very active with them. We're getting more and more requests for a product, like Beam that can manage the maintenance and the asset management, and also, combine these kind of product with an ERP solution, just like Acumatica. So Beam, to start, with the modules that it has, we can divide it in two sections. We have what we call like basic modules, like the standard package that is going to involve the asset management, inventory maintenance, and personnel management modules. And then the functionality was widened over time. And so we also have other modules, for example, for purchasing management, for energy management, for services or facility management. And today we'll be focusing more in this last section. So, for example, the use cases, we saw that we were trying to use Beam to reduce the maintenance costs, right? And so within the maintenance capabilities of Beam, we see that there are 3 different types of maintenance operations that we can take care of. They can be corrective, preventive, and also predictive. So, for example, the corrective maintenance operations are those that are related to a problem that happens. We find out that there is something wrong, and then we let the system know that there is a problem and we need someone to take care of that. Then the preventive maintenance refers to those situations whenever we just schedule monthly checkups, or maybe every 6 months, we just make sure that everything is working correctly. And finally, the predictive maintenance operations are those that we are able to pick up information directly from the machines, either because we install some sensors or because the machine now is smart, it's a new model, and we can pick up all of that information, and we can set thresholds. And whenever we exceed or we are below, I don't know, like for example, the vibration measurement or the temperature, we are exceeding the temperature that is mandatory, right? Then we can create a ticket automatically. We can assign it to someone, and so we're going to be saving a lot of time just because the request is going to come automatically into the system. And since you probably can figure it out, we have all of these modules. Beam is a modular product, which means that we only offer our clients the modules that they need, and they can maybe purchase more in the future. But it makes the solution much more affordable because they are only purchasing the modules that they need. Then it is also a product that is scalable because Beam can grow with a company. That means that maybe today we have a client with only like 15, 20 users, and then by the end of the year, they keep growing and they want to add another 20, for example. So we can always grow with our clients. Another interesting thing about Beam is that it has workflow management capabilities. So Gavin mentioned during his presentation that one of our products is called EVA, and that's our document and workflow management system. And with this product, we can customize different workflows for different companies. So for example, in the case of Starbucks or Hankel, right, they're submitting all of those requests. For example, with the Starbucks example, every time one of the coffee machines broke, there was someone from that coffee shop sending one email to the headquarters, and then they were getting in touch with the subcontractors, right? So that could be one example of a workflow, and we can just manage those different steps within Beam 2, and this can be something seamless to the user. Then we also have a reporting tool, obviously available for every single module. We can create reports automatically, access real-time information. And the feedback that we have received from current clients is mostly based in terms of how much they're able to reduce the maintenance costs, and also in terms of the number of failures that they get. So, for example, one of our clients was able to reduce the number of failures that they were getting by 80%, which is just huge, right? And so that's Beam, okay. And I wanted also to talk a little bit about the integration with Acumatica. So you can see here that these two products can work together because there are some fields that are going to be similar in both products. For example, right now we have integrated Beam and Acumatica in terms of the asset tree. So we're able to connect to Acumatica, we can read the asset tree, and we can transfer it to Beam, which means that all of the assets that are created within Acumatica are now going to be available on Beam, and we can take care of the maintenance operations within our product. And every change that we make within Beam is going to also be sent back to Acumatica. So if we update an asset, for example, then via web services, we're going to send all of that information back to Acumatica. Or maybe Acumatica is able to register a value that exceeds the tolerance or that threshold that we were talking about before. We can create directly a work request or a work order within Beam automatically. We have also integrated these two products in terms of the materials. So all of the stock items or the inventory, they're going to be accessible also on Beam. And obviously, every time that one of our team members, right, from the maintenance team gets something from the inventory and we're down one item, then all of that information is obviously going to be sent back to Acumatica so that both systems have the information up to date. So these are the main points that we have integrated so far. Obviously, if we talk to a client who is interested in combining more aspects of these two products, we can definitely work on that too. So what I'm going to do now is share with you this video that we created to explain the integration between Beam and Acumatica. So it's just like a very short video, and it shows the integration part. So right now you see that I am connected to Acumatica. I'm logging in with an admin user. For those of you who are familiar with Acumatica, there is a finance tab on top, and there is a section to take a look at the fixed assets. So here, what we could do is maybe create a new asset. So this is what the video does. There is going to be a new item in the system just for testing purposes. We can select the asset class, which is another field that is going to be connected to Beam. So we can select the quantity, the receipt date. We can select maybe the department. So all of these fields that are mandatory and that we want to transfer to Beam, we would complete them here. We would save it. And what we could do is basically take a look at the complete list of assets here within Acumatica to make sure that this asset with ID 19 was added in the system. It's the one at the bottom. Okay, that one. So what we can do now is show you how the Windows task scheduler is going to execute the integration file every few seconds. So that's going to keep Beam updated. And if I now were to log into Beam, we would see that within our assets, if we update them, there is going to be one more added here in the system. So you see that right there. That is that fixed asset that we created. I can open it. And what we can do is make some changes here. So if I, for example, make a change within the description of this asset, and then I save this, we're going to see that if we go back to Acumatica, we'll be able to see that change automatically. Okay, so that's one of the points that we integrated, the fixed assets. So let's take a look at that asset 19. You see that the description changed and it has that added part at the end. Also, within Acumatica, there's a section for distribution, and we have the ability of entering here all the stock items and the inventory. So what we can do is do the same thing. Let's just look for an item. You see that it's available on two different warehouses. If we now were to go into Beam, we would see that this item is also available on Beam. And if we were to use it, and it's something that it's just like a single use thing, then the inventory levels would be updated and we would be down one of the items. So what I'm doing right now is just filtering the materials just so that I can select only the ones that are coming from Acumatica. And right there on top, you see that laptop computer, which was transferred from Acumatica, and it's available now in two different warehouses. So that's basically how the integration works. What I'm going to do right now is log into Beam and show you just a very brief overview of how this product works and how we can help companies such as Hankel, Starbucks, and also companies that are in the mid-market, not just like very well-known companies, manage their maintenance operations. So what you see right now is Beam. This is, I just logged in with an admin user. The first thing you're going to see is this dashboard. This is something that is customizable. Every client is going to have a different dashboard, and we can also design it the way you want to. For example, we're going to have a widget gallery here at the bottom. If I were to just delete some of these cards, then you'll see that right now this one is now active. I could put it back and rearrange this. And obviously, different users are going to have different permissions, and they'll be able to see real-time information right here. So we can create lists, tables, cards, pie charts, graphs, really anything we want. We just need to have the data in the system, and then we'll be able to, sorry, I went back, to access these dashboard. So one thing that I wanted to show you before we go into the main menu is that this dashboard that is holding real-time information can also be updated every few seconds, okay? And it's also actionable. So there are going to be some aspects, for example, in terms of maintenance that we want to cover. Maybe we want to just take a look at the periodical maintenance operations, okay? This is actionable. All of these figures changed. If I were to click on failure maintenance operations, again, the cost is different for those. So we can just play around with the dashboard and let the users see different aspects of the company. And if I click here on the top left, then we access the main menu. We have access to the 4 modules that were part of that standard package, the asset maintenance, material, and personnel management modules. And then finally, at the bottom, we have the system settings. So I'm just going to kind of give an overview on each one of the modules. So for example, if we start with the assets, one thing that we can do within Beam is have an asset tree structure. So no matter how many locations our clients have, we can manage all of those locations independently, and then maybe the admin user has access to the complete system. So for example, the example that we have right now within the demo environment, it looks like this. There are 4 layers. We have the operations. This one is for New York. We have cost centers, we have departments, and then finally we have the assets that we introduce into the system. But there is no limit in terms of the number of layers that we can create. We have customers, for example, who are managing buildings, and they want to have all the buildings and all the rooms or floors, and that's their layer structure. So we're very flexible in that sense. And what I'm going to do is just open one of the items here in the system. I'm going to open this track right now. In this case, you'll see that there is a lot of information available in the system, and only the fields that are in bold with the star at the end, these are the only ones that are mandatory. And the reason I'm saying this is that here on the demo environment, we have access to many different fields, many different tabs, and all of these belongs to the same asset. So we have customers who are interested in the warranty information, and so we have fields for that. Others are interested in the map, right? They want to place this asset within a map, and they want to enter the coordinates here. So they have a space to do that. Others, they want to just link materials to this asset. Others want to assign a maintenance team to always work on this particular asset, in this case, a truck. Others, they want to enter measurement packages. Others, they want to add a maintenance plan here. So, for example, there is one maintenance plan created in the system already that is for vehicle maintenance, right? So every time there is a work request that belongs to this asset, that is associated with this asset, the maintenance team is going to have to go through these 5 steps. Okay, so we could maybe select this vehicle maintenance plan, and we could save it here in the system. And the reason I was mentioning all of these examples of information that we can enter into the system, it's because we work with the clients, and so all the information that is not necessary, that is going to be hidden. Okay, so really we can modify the looks of the system so that If you're only interested in the mandatory information here on top, then that's totally okay. We can get rid of the rest of the fields and tabs that are not necessary, even though some of the things that are in the system are obviously interesting to use. Like, for example, we can upload pictures, we can upload documents, warranty information, and things like that. Another interesting thing about the asset management module is that there is a graphical asset tree that we can take a look at. This basically shows, let me make this bigger. This is a bird's eye view of a specific moment in time. So basically, what we're going to do is upload this kind of layout. We can upload as many as we want, maybe depending on the location or different rooms. And we can start placing assets here. So all of these dots that you see right now, they're assets. I have one of the tracks here. And so if they're green, everything is okay. There is no maintenance operation. All of the assets are working correctly. And if they were to turn red, then maybe there is an open work order. Or if they turn blue, there is a preventive maintenance work order going on right now. So this is great for, like managers, for example, of different facilities. Also, if you're within the maintenance team and you just can take a look here at all the assets that need your attention. You can also hover over the assets to pull up information about them. And if I click on the asset itself, then I can create a work request directly. I can create a work order. I can maybe see the history of this asset or pull up an image about this one. So we can obviously enter more assets in here. We can also search for one of them by code or the name. And so we can localize the asset within the system. That is very interesting if, for example, we're combining Beam with RFID functionality, because maybe you place the asset right here and then the next morning it's right here. And if you just look for it, you know specifically where it is, and you don't have to just start looking for it throughout the whole warehouse. And one more thing about the asset management module, and this actually applies to all of the modules here within Beam, is the report section. So you see that every module is going to have a series of sections here, and then there are two that are going to be common. They're always going to be there. These are the definitions tab. This is how we configure the product, and also the report section. So I'm just going to open a very simple example, an asset status report, so that you get an idea of how quickly we can access these reports. For example, there is this filtering section here on the left side. I'm going to select all the assets that belong to the New York operation. I can click on prepare, and just within a couple of seconds, I get this PDF report. I can obviously export it in different formats, okay, so that's not a problem. We can save it, we can print it, we can download it, but the beauty of it is that we can also schedule these reports. If this is something that I need to access every single week or maybe every single day, I'm not going to have to spend any time working on this, just creating these graphs. And I'm also not going to waste any time just going to the asset and then the report section and then the status report and then filtering by the operation. I can just skip all of those steps, go directly here to the scheduling option. I can say that maybe I want this in PDF and I want to schedule it weekly, every single Friday before I leave the office. So I can schedule it at this time. I can start adding recipients here. So all of these users or user groups are going to be getting a notification via email with a PDF attached. And that way you just eliminate all of those steps in between. And obviously this is benefiting companies in terms of all of that time that they were wasting before. Now all of that is eliminated. All of it is automated. I wanted to also show you real quick how the maintenance management module works and how our companies like Starbucks and Hankel were able to reduce the maintenance costs. So, for example, if we take a look at the corrective maintenance operations, okay, there are going to be two ways of entering a work request. We can also do it from the phone if we want. We can create a fast request here. We can select the priority. Maybe this is an emergency. I can select the code, the asset code that we're talking about. Let me select one of the tracks here within the system. The requester here is going to be already entered. So this is the user that I've logged in with. I can select the work type. So in this case, this is a track. I'm just going to select the mechanical work. We can be as specific as we want with the maintenance and failure codes. So each company is going to be different. We can add more codes in here. Let's just select this first one. And then here we would enter some notes, some clarification about what's wrong with this asset. And so I would say that this would be something the requester would do. Then an administrator or manager of the facility, that person will be the one dispatching all of these work requests. So in this case, since I am an admin user, I can play all of these different roles. And if I go back to this first item here on top, this is the request that I just created. I could go ahead, open it, and assign it to someone else. So there are many fields in here. I know that. Let's just imagine that I'm going to go directly ahead to the resource section. I'm just going to assign myself as the person who's going to be completing this maintenance operation. I could approve it. And right now you see that this has triggered a workflow, right? Someone created it, then the next person has to approve it. And then finally, all of these work requests are going to be converted into work orders that are going to be assigned to someone else. So in this case, if I were to open this work order that I just created, I could access it literally right here. There are some fields about dates, like for example, when this problem happened, when we let the system know about it, when we think this is going to be finished. And all of these fields here, they are in minutes. In all of them, they're going to be updated automatically. So for example, the notification duration was 0 minutes, because from the moment that I created the request until it was approved, nothing happened in between. Okay. Between the failure occurrence date and the informed date, nothing happened. Like it happened at the same time. I noticed that there was a problem with the machine, and I literally just created that request. Then the reaction time is those minutes that happened between the creation of that work request and the moment that the team member from the maintenance team opens this request. So in this case, 1 minute went by, and all of these are going to be updated automatically. And obviously, once we work on this problem, we would have to select the failure cause, the failure solution. Maybe we can enter some details about what we completed. But what I wanted to show you right here is that we can enter the worked labor. So if I for example, spend like just 10 minutes working on this right now, then I have to stop, then I have to go back. I could list here all the time that I spent working on this. I can also select from the inventory section all of the materials that I needed to work on this asset. Okay, we could select from the list all of the items that we needed. And finally, if we needed, for example, external services, like for example, subcontractors in the case of Starbucks, we could list their services here and maybe enter the invoice number to connect it, right? And so after we are able to introduce all of this information about the labor cost, the material cost, and the service cost, once we save this work order, we work on it and all of that, this last tab is going to be updated, and it will show how much money we spend on labor, on materials, and on the services. And based on the total cost of the maintenance, we can take we can make decisions in the future, right? So if we start just accumulating all of this information about maybe this coffee machine was maintained 100 times within the last 5 years, let's just get a new one because it's not worth it anymore. We have spent too much money on it. So we can make those kinds of decisions. And we can obviously create these kinds of tickets so that they appear in the system automatically. So the one that I created was done manually, but if we want to just maintain a coffee machine every 6 months, just make sure that everything is working fine, then we can schedule those maintenance operations directly too. And for example, if I show you the inventory section, we were mentioning that all of these can also come from Acumatica if we are using the two products together. But BIM can also be used standalone, so it really doesn't matter. Like we can transfer all of the inventory just uploading an Excel sheet, and we can get all of the information here in the system. So you see that we can access information like, for example, the code, the description, the units, the total quantity, the purchase price, all of these. And if for some reason the client is not interested in some of these columns, we could always hide them. We can group them. We can do many different things here within the columns. And there is also one interesting way of taking a look at all of these items in the system, and it's by material group. So we were talking about truck parts, we could be talking about coffee machine parts, right? And we could access all of the warehouses that we have and the different spare parts that we have on each warehouse. So let me make this bigger. I could take a look at this and see that we have different warehouses with different spare parts here, and we could make transactions between those materials. So if we wanted to have like material incoming, withdrawing, or transfer, we could be saying something like, I want to request these many materials from this warehouse, and it would trigger a workflow process, obviously, that would guide us through the process of requesting a material transaction, then the other warehouse approving that, then maybe preparing those items to be transferred to the original warehouse. And one more thing that Beam takes care of is the personnel, right? Because every time there is someone working on Beam in terms of the operations or the maintenance, then there are going to be resources associated with that operation. And so we have to make sure that we have a calendar where we can track all of the tasks that have been completed so far. So for example, we could take a look at the monthly calendar. We could compare different users here in the system, and the work that they do. And we could select maybe the start date, the end date, the work type, many different options in here too. And the way we manage Beam and the authorizations that we give to the users, those are given from the system settings section. So we can do things like maybe just allowing the users to access the maintenance management system and only the work request tab. Or maybe we want them to have access to all the assets in the system, but they cannot access the definition section because we don't want them to just make any changes to the configuration of the product. So really, we can manage all of that within the system settings, and we can also create groups of users. So I could just make some changes and maybe show some of the other modules that are available for purchasing management, for energy management, for facility or services management. And that basically covers, Beam and what we can do with a product like this, how we can get all that information from Acumatica, and how a product like Beam can help companies reduce the maintenance costs. So what I'd like to do now is just go back to the presentation so that we can have the Q&A session. You have been sending some questions during the webinar, so we'll be addressing those now.
Thank you, Itier. So far, we talk about Beam, its capabilities, its benefits, most of all. We talk about the use cases that world-class companies such as Starbucks and Hankel, how they are actually benefiting Beam at their operations and how they are saving in the maintenance management cost, basically. And then, thanks to your presentation and demo, we have seen live how Beam works. And how simple it is, its interface to take care of and manage asset and maintenance management. And in addition, you also mentioned about Acumatica, one of the ERP systems that we work very closely. You show the integration, how Beam is working with Acumatica, just like it's been working with other ERP systems. We've seen live that Acumatica and Beam, they are actually working together live and exchanging information. So you don't have to enter the information twice. You enter it into one of the systems, and basically integration takes care of the rest. So that's been very, very informative. Thank you very much. Yes, we have some questions in our chat box, and I'd like to share some of them with you, as actually it's addressing you. For instance, one of the questions that I see is about the mobile app, which is very important for those on the manufacturing floor or for property management, for those on the field regularly, not in the office. So the question is there a mobile app available for Beam? And in general, how it is actually helping users operate?
There is a mobile application for Beam and also for the rest of our products. It's available for Android and iOS, so you can get it both in the Apple Store and the Play Store. And the way that a mobile application is helping our customers is that, for example, if you're on the field, you're not going to have a computer with you. So you need either a tablet or a phone to accompany you while you do the maintenance operations, for example. Some other things that can be done from the phone. For example, I see that there is something wrong with a machine. I can take a picture of the failure. I can upload it to a request. I can track the status of that request. I can see if someone is taking care of it or not. For example, if the assets within the company are identified with barcodes or QR codes, I can also scan those barcodes, create requests directly after scanning them, maybe pull up information about those. Maybe I can review my calendar and all the things that I have to complete today. So obviously, the mobile application is something that is very convenient, and our customers are very happy with.
Thank you, Ethier. Well, also I'd like to remind that our contact information is on the screen at the moment. You can see our phone number, you can see our email address. So for any detailed conversation, you can always give us a call and send us an email. We can schedule a demo or a meeting, and we can definitely talk in detail regarding Beam, Acumatica Beam integration, and any other questions that you have regarding maintenance and asset management. We have a couple more questions here. Let me see. I'm gonna put them together. Is Beam totally modular? Can we get any module that we need to operate in our organization? And in the future, can we add more? Maybe I can address this question. Yes, Beam is modular. So the main modules are as shown during Ethier's demonstration. Were asset management, maintenance management, material management, and personnel management, as in resources, staff management. So these are the standard modules that we have for Beam to operate and help you operate for asset maintenance management tasks and operations. In addition, we have there is energy module. There is also a purchasing module available. And there's also mobile app available, as Etier mentioned. So all these parts can be added later on. You don't have to have all these modules all together. You can have them phase by phase, and we can implement it and configure it for you. So that'd be my my answer. I have another question. Let me see. Well, as for Bimser International, what is your unique position in comparison to other software companies in the marketplace? Well, for Bimser, our unique position is, in my presentation, I mentioned we have 4 products. So Bimser International is the only company offering those 4 products with the workflow engine, with the maintenance and asset management, with business process management and quality risk and compliance management. We are the only company offering 4 of these products. And we can integrate with any ERP system, and we can also work with independently. So that is our unique position, basically. So in essence, who we are is we are a digital transformation enabler. That's who we are. And with the simplicity in mind, we help companies simplify their processes in the vision of digital transformation. That's who we are and what we do in essence. We can get, I think, one more question before we wrap it up. Let me see what we have. Can you integrate with any ERP system available in the marketplace? I think Ithya, you can address this.
Yeah. We can integrate with other ERPs, other systems, as long as we can make the connection via web services. So that's what we're doing with Acumatica right now. We have done it with other systems so far. And if you are like the company that you work with is already using like a product or an ERP that they're using and they want to keep using that, then we can always link Beam to the ERP so that both products can work together.
Thank you, Tia. I think it's time to wrap our webinar. I'd like to thank you for joining this webinar. Thank you for your interest and thank you for your time. As I mentioned earlier, our contact information is on the screen at the moment. So if you like to have the recording of this webinar, please shoot us an email and we'll be sending you the link that you can have the recording of this webinar. And if you'd like to have any further conversation or any further demo sessions, please also send us an email or give us a call. We can schedule a demo session for you and we can continue our discussions. Please keep in mind that we have regularly scheduled coming up as for ISO 9001 management in QDMS and more on the maintenance management with BIM in coming months. And we look forward to seeing you in our webinar sessions in the near future. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you again.